Taking a break for football for a minute, Jay, and this was a pretty stunning scene in Detroit.
Wild.
Yeah, so LeBron, his second game back. Listen, people said malice at the Palace, obviously, not the Palace, but is in Detroit, and it was a big scrum. So look at LeBron and Isiah Stewart after the free throw attempt. So LeBron is going to hit the second-year center in the eye with his elbow as he's boxing out. And now you're going to see LeBron come back and come at him, and Stewart pushes him away. And then this just insanity ensues. Stewart was absolutely incensed, trying to be held back by, there's Cade Cunningham in there's coaches, and there's teammates, and there's security personnel, and there's some Lakers in the mix. And look at his, So his eye, he is bleeding profusely from where LeBron hit him. Started to go, towards the locker room, then back out on the floor, held back again, and in effect just pushed into that tunnel. LeBron, that was a flagrant 2. He was tossed from the game. By the way, Russell Westbrook picked up a tech. He found out about it after the game. We don't know what's going to happen from the NBA. Obviously, they're reviewing it now in terms of suspensions, which could be on the horizon. But interestingly enough, following these ejections, the Lakers outscored the Pistons. They were down 11 at the time. They outscored the Pistons 55-38, including by 20 points in the fourth quarter. Dave McMenamin with more on the events.
It was starting to look like another Los Angeles Lakers letdown of a loss. Down double digits in the second half against a Detroit Pistons team with one of the worst records in the league, when a LeBron James hand to Isiah Stewart's face led to a fracas, and LA found itself without its leader.
Stewart tried to get physical with Bron. Bron did the same thing. Everyone in the league knows Bron not a dirty guy. Accidentally hit him. As soon as he did it, he looked back at him and told him, "Oh, my bad, I didn't try to do it."
Pistons coach Dwayne Casey agreed that James is not a dirty player, but said that Stewart's eye, which required 5 post-game stitches, quote, got cracked all the way open, and he was upset for a reason. After a tense few minutes, James was given a flagrant 2 foul and ejected, and Stewart got 2 techs and was tossed too. LA, already 0-2 on its 5-game road trip, seemed hopeless.
The altercation, it could have done 2 things. It could have made us unravel, or it could have, brought us together. And I think it did just that. It brought us together. We were down. We could have easily folded, let go of the rope, but we didn't.
LA trailed by 15 heading into the fourth before outscoring Detroit 37-17 in the final frame. Russell Westbrook put pressure on the Pistons' defense. Anthony Davis smothered the Pistons' offense. And the Lakers escaped with a much-needed win.
To me, it's one of those things that can change the momentum of your season. To see guys rally around a teammate that just got ejected like that, in a strange circumstance, played with incredible guts.
Jay, what kind of situation are you in to hope that a situation like this changes your momentum of your season?
Not a good one.
Yeah, and they're not going to be in a good one if LeBron is suspended, because look, this is their only trip to Madison Square Garden tomorrow. So if you have tickets to that game in New York, you're paying close attention to the news today, and then you look at the rest of this stretch. Our BPI only favors the Lakers in 2 of the next 6, including that rematch with the Pistons, and then the stretch concludes with the Clippers on ESPN.
He was doing radio.
Yeah.
And so, that's why he's not suited down.
I got the call.
So,
okay.
You don't have to
I like this.
No, I got you.
This is getting me ready for my next thing with you.
You got to put your arms in
it's like a cape.
That's all. It's like
a cape. Okay.
That's all.
I'll take the cape. I appreciate that.
That's right.
I got the bat signal late in the radio show.
He's
We're going to do that.
We're going to do that. He's unbelievable.
That's right.
This is how it feels
to get
money.
There we go.
I like it.
There we go.
Thank you, brother.
Stephen A., do you think LeBron should be suspended?
Yeah, he's got to be suspended because I totally agree with Anthony Davis from the standpoint that, he's not known. He doesn't have a reputation as a dirty player. That's not who LeBron James is. But that doesn't mean that the play at that particular moment in time wasn't dirty. The reality of the situation is you swung your elbow. And because you swung your elbow and it caused that kind of damage, the reality of the situation is that's what sparked the incident. However, I'm of the mindset that Isiah Stewart, don't know much about him, respect his talent. He's definitely a man. The brother's 6'8", 250, built like a middle linebacker. Definitely so. Now, when he initially went up to LeBron James, he didn't go up like that. But how he acted thereafter I think he deserves to be suspended for multiple games. You cannot act like that. He ran over numerous players, numerous coaches. I mean, I'm not talking about them having to restrain him. He bulldozed over several dudes, including coaches, all right, who are obviously older men. He could have done harm to his own teammates. Now, we know he didn't intend to do that. But in light of what, and this has nothing to do with the malice at the palace and all of that other stuff. I'm not trying to go there. But the point is, because of that, look at what that caused. You had, the league more stringent with rules and regulations. You've had people getting suspended just for stepping off the side or stepping off the court, onto the court from the bench and what have you. Rules have been extremely excessive to prevent anything close to that from happening. He looked completely out of control. And then after that, he storms into the locker room and try to storm down. Now, LeBron backpedaled and all of this other stuff. People texting me and tweeting, look at LeBron backing up. I will remind everybody that it wasn't like the brother was coming after me. LeBron's 6'9", 250, 260. It ain't like he's some punk. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he's smart enough not to do it, but more importantly, he knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong because he swung his elbow. All of that extra stuff Isiah Stewart did was completely uncalled for. He was out of control, and you can't have that. I'm telling you right now, if you look back at the tape and you see him bulldozing over his own coaches, you don't know how hurt you could have made one of them trying to restrain you. That was completely uncalled for. You can't have that.
Which offense was worse, LeBron James in the elbow or Isiah Stewart trying to get to LeBron James?
Isiah Stewart.
You see, I think it was LeBron James. And I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses for Isiah Stewart at all.
Right.
I've known Isiah Stewart. I watched him. He's from Rochester, New York. He is a very low-key individual, very nice person. Kid wants to compete more than young man wants to compete more than anybody.
I've never met him. I don't know him, and I'm not saying anything about
Agreed.
his character.
We're on the same page
I don't
about
know
that.
him. I don't know him.
I don't know what was said in that moment because, what happens is, and I agree with you, Stephen, I think LeBron James should be suspended 2 games for that. First off, when you box out, you always get low. The fact that his elbow was high and he raked down with a closed fist, that's a suspension in my opinion. But what happens is when somebody is remorseful for something like that happening, what typically happens? Molly, you know what happens? Like somebody has an accident. Hey, playmaker, you okay? You all right, man? I didn't mean that, right? LeBron James is standing there looking at him with his arm out. I don't know what was exchanged there.
No, immediately the guy came, Isiah came to him, and LeBron was like, my bad, I didn't mean it. And then everybody else came forward. And then that's when Isiah started going off.
So I'm okay with Isiah being suspended, but he can't be suspended the same amount of games LeBron James was suspended.
Why is that?
Because I think even though he didn't get to him, I think the fact that it caused a scene, it was initiated by LeBron in that moment. Like that moment created that whole scenario for that to occur. Like it was, look, man, I know how to hurt people in the game of basketball. When you box out, playmaker, if you boxing me out, you're allowed to get in this rib cage. If your rib cage is on me, put your arm on my rib cage. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna chop it down. I'm gonna chop down the hell on your rib cage so hard, or your thigh. I'm not coming across the top of my body with my closed fist to your face. That means you want to fight. Those are things those create fights back in the day. So I'm not making excuses for him. I just don't see the punishment level on the same level.
So you guys are on complete opposite ends.
we are.
Where are you
I think it's suspended a game. I don't think multiple games for Isiah Stewart.
Let me tell you something. And I've watched and I love LeBron and I watched for a lot of years. And I don't know, and I want to say this first, I don't know how he keeps his cool all the time. Because he does.
Yes.
He does. And people go after him
all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
All the
Understood.
time. Now, with that being said, when we were talking about this and when I saw it, I said, man, do they suspend LeBron? Yes, they suspend LeBron. Okay? You're talking about Isiah. That's all we're going to hear about Isiah. This is what it is. And I hearken back, I'll never forget, I hearken back to the time that they decided to give me a little vacation in the NFL. And what that letter read, when I got it from the commissioner, it said, because of who you are and who you play for, and the notoriety and the publicity you get for playing for the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to have to give you an extra game. It said that in the letter. I say this with LeBron because of who he is and what he represents to the NBA.
Face of the
you
league.
want to send a message about this is not good. This is not right. This is the guy. I will, if I'm going to suspend somebody, it's going to be the same amount of games because LeBron's name is tantamount to what him raging on the football field.
Right.
Everybody knows LeBron James.
Time out. Here's why I respectfully disagree with both of y'all. I get where y'all coming from. Totally understand. I will remind you, again, LeBron should be suspended. 1 or 2 games, I'm good with it. It's not a problem. I get where you're coming from. He instigated the incident. But at the moment he instigated it, okay, because he struck the guy with the elbow, he turned to him and was like, I didn't mean to do that. My bad, whatever. The point is, everybody else came in. LeBron stepped back. Why is this incident? If LeBron hits him with the elbow and gets ejected from the game because of it, we say LeBron got ejected. But the highlights can't stop re-airing because of the scene Isiah Stewart made. Isiah Stewart bowled over numerous players, numerous coaches, numerous times in an effort supposedly to get at LeBron James. And what I'm saying to you is when you talk about imagery, I get the point, Michael Irvin, about the name, the cachet, who LeBron James is. But when you talk about violence in the sport itself, who are you looking at today? You're looking at a guy that was completely out of control, that had to have teammates, coaching
His face
staff.
was all bloody.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Right.
I understand that. But what I'm saying to y'all is this. After the game, for example, if you sit up there and you walk off the court, you sit up there and you talk and I'm going to meet you in the back or something like that, that's different. He bulldozed over numerous players and coaches.
Because you guys haven't answered this. Do you believe it was accidental by LeBron?
No.
No, I
Stephen
don't.
A?
No, I don't believe
Stephen was going to get as much
I don't believe the results of what happened he intended, but did he swing the elbow intentionally?
Yes.
Right.
He did.
But this was going to get much TV play. Rather, he raged around or not because it's LeBron. No matter what, this was going to get that
Stewart's face is all bloody.
And I'm going to tell you something. As a guy who played in the league, you get hit in the face. Like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
And it's a
right, Mike Tyson. I'm not condoning the reaction, Stephen A. But you are talking about a young pup in the league compared to somebody.
We're not condemning him. We're not
way
saying his
more
career needs to be over.
right? Yeah.
We're not saying he's a bad guy. We're saying that optics. To view this man being completely out of control, I think his suspension warrants being more than LeBron's. I just do.
And you guys disagree. On that. You think LeBron should be stiffer based on his cachet and who he is and being a vet in the league.